G'day guitar players, how you going? Today I thought I'd just share a couple of little things with you about the wrists. I'm currently experiencing a few little niggles in my wrists, and I thought I might share some of the things that I'm doing to help deal with those problems. Wrist problems are pretty common for guitar players, very often in the left hand because of the fact, we're doing this kind of business with our hand, and a lot of the time a wrist problem in the left hand can simply be alleviated by just working on minimizing the amount of angle that you play with. This kind of angle on the guitar is very common if you play the guitar low. If you sit with the guitar on your knee for long periods of time and you want to access the lower parts of the fretboard, then you're going to start doing this and this. And so one of the things I do with my students immediately, in order to avoid developing pain in the wrist, but also to improve the function of the left hand, is to elevate the guitar so that you can minimize the amount of angle on the wrist. But hey, in a perfect world, and same with the right hand, trying to minimize, having too much angle on the wrist or anything like that. My problem happens to be at the moment in my right hand, and it's I'm not sure why it's come about. Just playing a lot, practicing a lot. Who knows? I'm getting old. All sorts of stuff. But if you're taking care of your posture, your wrist position is pretty good, and so on and so forth, still doesn't mean that you're not going to suffer some kind of problem in the body. In fact, if you're practicing a lot, gigging a lot, and so on, these problems can occur at any time. Now, there are a lot of videos out there to show you how to deal with wrist problems for guitar players. I thought I'd just share my own little take on it because I'm actually experiencing the problem at the moment. I happen to have a pain right in here on this wrist, and it's probably got something to do with the fact that I've been playing too much with too much of an angle on the wrist like this, like playing like this, rather than sort of keeping the wrist straight here. So I'm looking at that in my technique, but how do we deal with the problem anyway? I mean, we often tend to think that as soon as we get some kind of wrist pain, elbow pain, neck pain, finger pain, whatever it might be, that something catastrophic is happening that's going to stop us from playing, that we might be developing some form of tendonitis, RSI, arthritis, whatever it is. And as you get older, the list goes on and the frequency of these problems seems to become greater. However, you can get these issues occur at any time. Now, what I've been finding is, and I'm not going to be introducing anything new here, and I'm not proposing that this is in any way a remedy for you. I'm just saying that this is what I've been doing, and I've been finding it's been very helpful. Now, the way I've been dealing with this problem has been in a very similar way to how I deal with getting sore knees from running. I'm a keen runner, and it's pretty common knowledge that when you get stiff knees as a runner, the issue is often coming from higher in the leg, very commonly in the quadricep, or the thigh, and often we'll use stretching to deal with the problem, and also use this kind of foam roller to actually roll along the muscle and release any knots or tension that might be built up in the muscle. And very often stretches won't actually deal with that problem. We need to use a roller or have someone give us a massage or acupuncture, whatever it might be, to get into a more specific area. So that's all good for the legs, but what do we do about the wrists? Now, what I've been finding is that I've been doing all sorts of stretches, gentle stretches, this kind of stretch, this kind of stretch, opening out the chest and stretching the wrists. Right back, really stretching. That opens out the whole arm, and all of these are good. Anything that's going to stretch the arms, release the shoulders, open out the chest, they're all good things to do for your general arm function and for getting the arms nice and loose. But what I've been finding is that with this little wrist needle that I have here, those stretches are not really getting to the root of the problem. So what I've started to do is to use a rolling pin to basically do the same thing as this big foam roller here that I would normally use on my legs or roll my back out. The rolling pin here is very good for the arms. Now you might be thinking, how do I roll the arm out? Now, on the leg, I would be able to use it with both hands like this, and which I sometimes do. Carry one of these around with me if I'm going out running somewhere. I don't want to take a roller. They're great for just rolling out the arms, but you can use it on the forearm to massage out the muscles that are on the outer forearm and on the inner forearm. And whilst you can do this kind of massage with the left hand, you can work these muscles with the thumb. I often find that it really tires out my left hand, and if I've got to keep playing or practicing or whatever, I've got to go to a gig, I can actually wear my hand out by giving myself a massage. So the roller here can be really cool. All I do, the rolling pin, all I do is I just sit on the floor or I sit on a chair and I kind of dig it in, brace it somewhere like this, and then roll the arm along like this. Now, you'll find, if you feel along the arm with your thumb, you'll often find that there's some pretty tender spots in the arm. For me, it's right there. And also, I've got some tender spots on the inside of the arm, which can still create tension here, which can then refer into it, create an issue here. So I'm just going to use the rolling pin to work the whole arm and see how that feels. Now, it just feels good I just kind of lean into the forearm with a bit of lean into the rolling pin with a bit of my body weight, and then just work along, and right in here, some really tender spots. And it kind of feels like someone's giving you a nice forearm massage. So you can work along all those muscles there. I can feel that when I get into that muscle there and I move my wrist like this, I can feel that that's going to be giving me a bit of trouble. Similarly, I can roll along the inside of the arm like this, and that feels really good too. The forearm you can also work with the elbow just by leaning on. You can lean on something to do that. Doesn't have to be a foam roll, it can be any cushion, just so you've got something to support it. And you can get in with the point of the elbow up into the forearm here. That feels great. Now, even just after a couple of minutes of doing that, that has completely released all the pain that was in the wrist here. And had I not done that, had I just relied on the stretches, I wouldn't have got any relief just from the stretches alone. And that might well start playing a few games with your head. You might start thinking, my God, what's going on? Am I developing some injury that's going to stop me from playing? And if you're a keen guitar player, that's the last thing you want to have happen. So yeah, I'm finding at the moment that even when I get this wrist pain, I can actually completely relieve the problem by just working into these muscles here. Now, like I said, you can massage with your hands. You can get someone else to do it. I find, like I say, it actually wears my left hand out, and if I've got to play, that's something that I don't want to have happen. So try the roller, try getting in there with your elbow. You can try massaging the whole arm, even shoulders, anything that's going to kind of release tension in the arms and improve the function of everything, keeping those nice and loose. Anyway, I hope that helps. That's my little regime that I'm currently engaged in to help deal with this wrist problem. And yeah, good luck. See ya.